Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have the second bottle here from MAT, which stands for Matthew, Darcy and Co. Limited, Irish whiskey from Newry, special non-chill filtered, yay, very small, it's there. 10-year-old port finish blended Irish whiskey, finished in select American oak and port casks. So a product of Matt Darcy and Co. Limited, Ireland. Not produced by. So whiskey base, I actually found a number for this one, 152020. And it's from 2020, and it's 46%. In Ireland, and which I really don't understand, if you go to, for example, here, our Celtic whiskey shop, you're going to pay 85 euros for this. Now, you do get this nice little box and little pedestal and so on. 85 euros. Germany, 49 euros. Something's wrong. Now, some of you might say, oh, it's because of the excise tax, the tax you have to pay for the alcohol. It could be the VAT, the value-added tax. No, I think you're just paying extra in Ireland at the moment because it's won a few awards. All right, so the winner of a gold medal in the San Francisco World Spirits Competition, and second place in the blended Irish whiskey category of the Las Vegas International Whiskey Competition. I've been doing whiskey now for 5 years. I do know a lot about the San Francisco World Spirits Competition. I've never heard anything about the Los Angeles International Whiskey Competition. All right, so the first blended Irish whiskey to be released in over a century by Matt McArcy and Co. Limited is a 10-year-old finished in port cask. We have 10-year-old grain that has been blended with 17-year-old single malt to create this expression. And that really bugs me. Not the 10-year-old, not the 17-year-old, as if this brand had actually re-released something. They have been silent for 100 years. I ranted and I raved about them in my video before, and this is exactly the type of marketing BS that I just hate. All right. Eichenville, the partner that actually distributes it now, did it exactly the same thing with Dunville. In America, Michters did exactly the same thing. And there are many, many others have tried and failed. And those are just some examples of those who at least have succeeded to have a bottle here on my table. On the nose, I do get a nice maltiness. I do get a nice strawberry red moment. I do get the vanillas in there. For 49 euros, I think this is nice. I personally hate these little necklaces. Some people think they're cute and some people like them and so on. I just think they're a pain in the butt. They're always in the wrong place. And okay, it says here, for those that could not read before, 10. All right, so... yeah, what am I going to compare it to? I'm going to compare it to a Bushmills 10 years old. Why not? What I find is really, really amazing is they found 17-year-old single malt out there. Is it Bushmills single malt? Is it Middleton single malt? Is it Cooley single malt? I'm going to guess it's going to be Cooley single malt. Which of course means they did not have a lot of money back then for good cask that they were putting. The wood that they were putting the whiskey into was not great, second, third fill, and so on. And yeah, and it could be that this is just trying to mask those components with a nice little port finish. It must be natural color. I don't know. Look at this, so light it is. I don't see any red in here. I do taste a little bit or smell a little bit of that port influence. All right, I do get the grain though. At this moment, I prefer the 10-year-old. Sorry, guys. Over here in Germany, around 30 some euros, 28 to 32 euros, depends on where you're buying. All right, over here, 49, so 50 euros. Cheers. Hmm. Hmm. Fairly well done. A tiny little bit of those old casks are trying to push their way through. The whole time that port finish and that vanilla and that red berry moment is pushing down that taste profile. It's somewhat smooth. It's somewhat complex. There's a good feel, a mouth feel here. There's complexity in here. This is a C plus whiskey. Value for money, C. I don't find very many Irish whiskies priced at 50 euros with a 10-year-old age statement and with the information that there's 17-year-old single malt in there. That is actually not bad. So layers, fruitiness, strawberries, little bit of vanilla sweetness and wood in there. The barley sugars, everything's actually much better harmonized than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to add a little bit of water, take it down from its 46%, maybe down to about 40%. Let's see what happens. Cheers. Mm-hmm. It can actually stand up to water, not bad. I'm still going to stay with my C plus rating here, C for my value for money. If they would have only, no. So what I'm having a problem. Not everyone's going to lay 50 bucks on the table to buy a whiskey. But the same people that are not going to lay 50 bucks on the table to buy a whiskey, okay, at least in Germany, apparently it's 80 some euros over there in Ireland, they're going to have exactly the same problem putting down 40 bucks to buy a whiskey. And if they were had been priced at 30 and 60, it was like, okay, now I understand there's a big difference. Somehow in Germany, due to the importer, due to whatever reasons, they are so close together. I mean here, this bottle, I need to find this bottle again. This bottle of Irish whiskey, which is 4 years old, 4-year-old malt, 4-year-old grain versus a 10 and 17-year-old. 40 euros, 50 euros. Every day in the week, I'm going to buy the 50 euros. I get a nice little necklace on top of it, yeah? This is overpriced and this is underpriced. So I actually have to give this a C plus as well for price, to be very, very honest. Yeah, actually, I'm going to C plus for taste and C plus for price. Wow. Over here, the Bushmills 10-year-old. I had one bottle I did not like. Might have been me, might have been my phase in life, might have been the bottle. I normally do not expect and have much batch for variations in Bushmills. Oh, Helen Mulberry, the master blender who created the Causeway collections, she's going into retirement. She did such good work. Who's going to replace her? Will they continue? I like this bottle a lot more. Hmm. This is good Irish whiskey for that value of money. It's much clearer, much straight, very malty, a little bit of sugars. I do think we have a tiny little bit of, yeah, the two woods here. We do have the copper, I'm sorry, we have the sherry, oloroso, and we have then the vanilla of the bourbon in here. Which one would I prefer? This is halfway good, but it's still not exactly at that same level as the Bushmills today. All right, so thank you very much for watching. Imagine I gave you 65 euros, 65 pounds, or $65, and I asked you to buy a 10-year-old minimum aged Irish whiskey. What would you go for? I can get the 12-year-old Redbreast, and I think over here in Germany I can actually get the cask strength for 65 euros on sale, which doesn't happen very often because it sells out so quickly. Angry Jason. All right, so Redbreast 12 cask strength is what I would go for 65 euros. For 50 euros, I don't know. All right, think about it, write something down in the chat, and I'm going to look forward to responding and reacting to your comments. So, WhiskyJason over here in Ireland, learning a new brand that has been resurrected. 2 bottles at the moment. There is somewhere out there, at least some bottles of a 17-year-old stuff. The 17-year-old stuff actually has a rum cask in it. There were 343 bottles, and it's going for 300 bucks at the moment. So imagine he had not taken his 17-year-old single malt and put some of it into the blend, but rather just sold it all as a single cask. I think he would have earned more money, but hey, who knows? I don't know. All right, so WhiskyJason, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American here in Germany. Thank you very much for liking my videos. Thank you very much for subscribing. Maybe you can hit the bell. You'll be notified each time. Every once in a while I go online. I did that just recently, and in English, most of my focus on the online world is in the German-speaking German whiskey world. Sorry for that, and thank you very much for supporting this channel. All the best. Bye bye.